Hey guys, welcome back to the Girl Gone London channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin. I'm a dual UK and American citizen, and today we are going over 9 things I absolutely love about a UK summer. Now, we are fully in the swing of a UK summer in my mind. However, here in Southeast England, the schools haven't actually let out yet, which is always really weird to me because where I grew up in Florida, we would get let out of school like mid-May, and we'd go back at the end of August, whereas here, they typically don't get out until mid to late July and go back in September. So in my mind, I've been in summer for like 2 months, but I would say weather-wise, considering it's about to be the hottest day in the UK like ever, we're definitely in summer in terms of the weather, and the kids do get out of school very soon. So summer is here, and summer is one of my favorite times in the UK, and here's why. The first reason is the sheer amount of daylight. The long, almost never-ending days where it doesn't get dark until like 10:30 p.m. and gets bright at like 4 a.m. is really, well, some people don't like it because they get woken up very early, but for me, it just makes me feel like I'm getting the most out of my time. I love the sunlight, I love the daylight, and so the long days are here, and it really makes the summer just such a good time in the UK for me. It's easier to like make plans with people because it's not going to be dark super early. So really those like long daylight hours are something I really love about a UK summer. Now I have talked about this briefly before, but there is another very important reason to me why I love the long daylight hours in a UK summer, and that is because I suffer from something called seasonal depression, or SAD. So for me, seasonal depression is what most people think of as a something that happens in the winter. So for me, it typically goes from about October until March or April, and it's partly caused by the complete opposite of the long days in the summer here. It's the very short daylight hours in a UK winter, as well as just the general grayness. I also learned the other day that seasonal depression can actually affect people in all kinds of seasons, but there is a large contingent of people who experience this seasonal affective disorder in the summer months. And that brings me to the sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. BetterHelp offers online personalized therapy that is really customized to you and how you want to talk to somebody. Maybe it's over the phone, maybe it's video chat, it could even be Messenger without having to speak face to face. That is something that BetterHelp offers. They have more than 20,000 therapists, so it's really easy for them to match you with somebody who really aligns with what you're looking for in your therapist. I've used BetterHelp myself, and I found the platform very easy to use. You fill out a questionnaire to get started, talking about maybe what you want to get out of it, what you're struggling with, who you are, what you identify with, and it takes them under 48 hours to match you with the perfect therapist for you. And as much as I'm loving the UK summer, one of the things I've learned in my sessions with my therapist is really the importance of getting on top of your mental health and being proactive about it rather than just reactive. Now, if for any reason you're not jiving with your therapist, you can actually request a new one for free, no charge at any time, and switch to a different therapist. So BetterHelp really gives you these customization options to be able to find the perfect therapist for you. And again, to have a ton of options on how people are willing to communicate with you. If you solely go to an in-person therapist, obviously you are limited by your actual location. With BetterHelp, they can match you with somebody who's really aligned with what you're looking for, and they don't have to be right in your backyard because it is online therapy. So it might be that you're like me and you do suffer from low mood during seasonal changes. Maybe you're dealing with feelings about it being summer that are a little bit different than what I'm about to talk about in this video. Or maybe you are just feeling the stress of living in today's world because it is very stressful. If you feel like you could benefit from any sort of therapy, I would highly recommend BetterHelp as a great option. Like I said, I have used BetterHelp myself, and I've also experienced other therapy. I'm pro team therapy. If you want to get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp, then you can go to betterhelp.com. That's BETTERHELP, betterhelp.com/girlgonelondon, and you can get 10% off of your first month. Now let's get back to the video. Okay, the second thing I love about a UK summer are summer fates, or what I would kind of call like a summer festival. Maybe we don't really use the word fete in the US where I'm from. But if you're in the UK watching this, you know exactly what I mean. If you're not, imagine like a bunch of food trucks, stalls set up from various people in the local community, maybe people selling things, maybe like the local parish church has set up some sort of activity for the kids. It's usually in a field somewhere. Sometimes there's a recreational dog show for everybody in the neighborhoods to show off their dogs. It's just like a classic part of a UK summer is a summer fete. There's usually always a Mr. Whippy ice cream for sale, and you walk around with your ice cream, and sometimes it's warm, sometimes it's raining, but whatever the weather, it's just such a classic part of a UK summer. And while we do have a lot going on in the summer in the US, this type of festival that you can find in most villages, you could just go to them like every weekend all summer. It is a very UK thing, and I really enjoy that part of the summer here. The next thing I love about a UK summer is a barbecue, because every time it is sunny, people are like straight for the barbecue. The barbecue section is always sold out at our local grocery store. It sometimes is an impromptu thing. Sometimes you plan the barbecue hoping that the weather is good, but just a summer barbecue in the UK, you can't get much better than it. Just the smell, and most people here typically have like well, I won't say everybody. We don't have a gas barbecue. We have an official, legitimate charcoal barbecue. So the will it or won't it cook in less than 3 hours is also part of the experience. It's just really fun having friends over, and having a summer barbecue is another one of my favorite parts about summer here in the UK. The next thing I love, which has passed for the summer but does happen every summer, is Wimbledon. Honestly, I think Wimbledon may be just in general one of my favorite parts about life in the UK. I follow tennis not at all, so I show up once a year to Wimbledon and know, you know, maybe the big name players, but mostly don't know who anybody is. I get very involved for that day, and then I leave and I forget about it until the next summer. But the act of going to Wimbledon, of eating strawberries, how beautiful the grounds are, and really being a tennis fan for that one day, it was one of my favorite parts of a UK summer, and something that I really look forward to. I think I've been 4 times now. I also have a video on my channel, I think of 2 years ago when we went. I've done the queue, I've bought tickets, I've sat on Center Court and Court 1 and Hinman Hill or Marymount or whatever you want to call it. Like I said, the atmosphere of Wimbledon just screams summer here to me. And it's one of my favorite things, full stop, about life in the UK, but it's also one of my favorite things that happen in a summer here. The next thing I love is just the general sense of good cheer. I feel like in some other countries, it's like Christmas time is when everybody's super nice. Aside from like the boiling hot days when we all lose our mind a little bit because nobody has air conditioning, I would say that summer in the UK is sort of when everybody is like the best version of themselves in terms of saying hi to your neighbors, smiling at people, randomly walking down the street. The sun and the summer, I think, bring out the best in people in the UK. It just feels, like I said, feels happy, feels cheerful, and to me that vibe of summer here is something I really love. Okay, the next thing on my list are I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. Is it Rowntree? The Rowntree watermelon pops. Amazing. The taste of watermelon is one of my favorite tastes. And you don't find too many watermelon flavored things here typically, but I found these. They're incredible. They're my favorite summer treat, and I would highly recommend to go and try them if you haven't. The next thing I love about a UK summer is swimming in the sea on like a really scorching hot day. So I'm used to temperatures in the sea that are certainly warmer than we typically get in England, having grown up in Florida. But on a really, really, really hot day, like swimming off Bournemouth Beach, it's so refreshing. The water is so nice. I actually found a 20-pound note floating in the water towards me last summer. Nobody around me was missing it, so that was, I guess, Bournemouth's gift to me. But going for a swim in the sea in the summer is definitely one of my favorite parts about life here in the UK in the summer. The next thing I love about a UK summer are the visitors. Not only does my business rely on visitors to the UK who might be interested in things like my London guide or my London itinerary or my book about culture here in the UK, but it is fun to walk around and hear lots of different accents. And again, typically people who are coming here to visit the UK are super excited to be here. So I think that also contributes to the general sense of positivity that you can find in many of the major cities across the UK, as well as more rural areas. But the summer months, they bring the visitors, they bring the pounds, they bring just a sense of excitement about the UK, and it's nice to meet new people and to get a lot of people who watch my channel or who are otherwise following my website to be able to have them complete their trips to the UK and even meet a couple of them in person. Now, the last thing that I love about a UK summer is an outdoor cinema screening. I love an outdoor event. And the summer is the best time for it in the UK. And typically, especially around London and other major areas, they do outdoor movie theater experiences, which I really enjoy. We've gone to a couple drive-in summer experiences during the pandemic. I think there are still a couple that they put on, but just in general, like bringing a blanket and doing an outdoor cinema screening or outdoor movie screening for those Americans watching is such a quintessential part, I think, of a summer here for me. It's something that we do every summer, sometimes multiple times a summer. And again, it's just the vibe. There's some like food vendors, you're all watching a movie, hopefully the weather's nice, and the days are so long that you've really packed so much into that day and are finishing off with the outdoor cinema screening. Quintessential for me, and the final thing on my list of things I love. Now, that brings me to the end of this video. I would love for you to comment below on your favorite part of summer in the UK. Maybe you don't like summer in the UK. You can also comment that too. Maybe you have another favorite season. Let us know. But I would love for you to share that in the comments. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time.